Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. I felt a burp coming on, and it didn't wind up happening. Thank God. My guest today probably wouldn't want to hear me burp on the podcast, neither would you guys. It's Jared Waltzer.
Right. I wish you burped, though.
I can burp on command. I have it on my resume as a special skill.
That's impressive.
People shouldn't do it. People, you gotta list everything that you're capable of.
Absolutely.
How else are people in Hollywood gonna know that you can burp on command?
Right. You're going to get that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm gonna try and do it in a casting session, and I'm gonna accidentally puke a little bit in the room, and that's how they know that I'm dedicated to my craft.
That's when you become A-list.
Jared is a good friend of mine, very funny improviser, sketch comedian out here in Los Angeles, and he has never done a podcast before.
No.
I'm hopping a podcast cherry today, buddy.
Right. I'm a little nervous.
Well, don't be nervous. Actually, maybe you should be a little nervous because you're picking a movie today to talk about that's kind of got some fans.
Oh, yeah. It's semi-blasphemous.
It's Grease.
It's Grease. I'm going to explain why I think Grease 2 is far superior to the original Grease.
Oh, my God.
And yeah, I've had people be like, "What'd you just say? Did you just say Grease 2?" Like, yeah, you'll get slapped with some jazz hands in the musical theater community for saying that.
Are you deep in the musical theater community?
No, not at all.
You just go into it just to go say, "Hey, Grease 2's better than Grease."
Yep, and then run out when the mob comes after you. But before, I was thinking Grease 2, or Grease rather, and I don't hate Grease. I just think Grease 2 is better. But before that, I was also thinking of Jaws 4. Have you ever seen Jaws 4?
I've never seen any movie in the Jaws franchise.
Oh, God. Well, you know what it is, right? Everyone knows what it's about.
Jaws 4?
Jaws, period.
I mean, I know what Jaws is about, yeah.
So Jaws 4, and I'm not going to do this, but it's so funny to me because Jaws 4, the shark follows the Brody family to the Bahamas.
Okay.
And it always blew my mind because, they're in their 4th installment, so they were probably like, what can we do?
Right, and they just done a 3D version of Jaws. So
and one's
you're
great.
already trying to top yourself.
Yes, 1 I think's really good. I like 2, and then, it's like anything else. It started getting rough. But I just love the idea that, Jaws was like, I mean, how does he know? He, goes, I smelled something weird. I think the Brodies, they're going on a trip. They're going to the Bahamas. And then what? He looks up in the sky and is like, "Yeah, that's it. Delta Flight 262.
Let me just pop on my shark phone here. I'm going to track
right
in the water."
And I love it. And not even that. Then he swims down because the original is up in Martha's Vineyard. So now Jaws is going to swim down to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
And even there, he's like, how does he know where they are? Well, they're in the Hilton.
He smells that Brody blood.
He smells the Brody blood. And then even on top of that, how does he find them? Out of all the boats, he's like, those Brodies are in that boat. I just love the fact that people don't give Jaws the credit he deserves as really being like the Albert Einstein of the sea. How did he know they went to the Bahamas, Jay?
I'm looking at this plot synopsis for Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And it is preceded by Jaws 3D, but it ignores plot elements introduced in that film. That's one of the first lines that I've read on this Wikipedia page. Michael Caine is in this movie.
Yes.
And who did Michael Caine piss off in Hollywood that he got cast in Jaws: The Revenge?
Or it's like,
what happened?
Yeah, what piece of land was he like, I'll just buy that. I'll say yes and buy some Malibu mansion. But yeah, I don't think he lists that on his resume if he ever goes into interviews. He leaves that one off.
Production of I don't want to fall too far down a Jaws 4 rabbit hole, but this movie looks awful.
Oh, it's so bad. I'm just saying you can watch 1. You should watch 1. That's a classic. And then go to 4 and it's just so funny. But yeah, no, it's terrible. We could segue out.
They changed the ending In the ending that was in the original theatrical version, Ellen rammed the shark with Mike's boat, mortally wounding it. The shark then causes the boat to break apart with its death contortions. The American audiences disapproved of this ending, so a new ending was ordered shot for foreign distribution, with the shark getting stabbed in the bowsprit and then exploding.
Yes.
The shark explodes?
He explodes, spoiler alert, he explodes in, I think, all of the previous movies. That's another funny thing. He always comes back, but he literally explodes in basically every movie.
But they explode him from shooting him in the first movie, right?
Yeah, shoot like an oxygen tank that's in his mouth.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
That he came back from that?
No, it makes sense that he would explode a shark by shooting an oxygen tank. That makes logical sense, at least. How's a shark going to explode if you just ram it with a boat?
Hey, let's give Jaws credit for not only being the Einstein of the sea.
Is a shark on Macy's Day Balloon?
He keeps coming back. He puts himself together. Hey, his work ethic is second to none.
Anyway. Okay. So let's talk about Grease.
Let's talk about Grease.
Grease is a movie. Grease is the word. It's a word that you heard. If you haven't seen this movie, which I am one of those people who've never seen Grease. Love the soundtrack. Have not seen the movie.
Okay.
It's a 1978 American musical comedy film based on the 1971 musical of the same name. Features the lives of greaser Danny Zuko and Australian transfer student Sandy Olsen, who develops an attraction for each other. Stars John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, and then it's also got a bunch of other people doing stuff. Yeah. And I don't really know what the movie is about. Is it really just a lot of like teen singing?
Yeah, it's like, stupid like teen love songs and whatever, and it's campy, and there's a lot of like kind of like sexual songs. And it's a similar thing in Grease 2, the better movie, in my opinion. But I just think Grease 2 does everything better.
So what are the compare and contrast for me? What's the major differences between Grease and Grease 2, other than the fact that you've got Michelle Pfeiffer and Maxwell Caulfield?
Yes. And you have Sid Caesar. I know this is a comedy podcast.
Sid Caesar's in this movie?
Sid Caesar is the phys ed teacher in Grease 2.
Okay.
I think that's a similar one probably to what we were talking about with Michael Caine. Sid was probably like, all right, okay, I'll just do it. But I love Sid in it. But
wait, Sid Caesar's in the first one too, though.
Is he?
Yeah, he's Coach Calhoun.
In both?
The tough-talking gym teacher.
All right.
And the coach of the school's perennially losing sports teams.
I didn't know.
Sounds like he's the same guy.
Oh, no, he is in the first one. I don't think he's in the second one. I take that back.
No, he's in both.
Is he?
Yeah.
Awesome.
You are not prepared for this podcast.
No. And that was
woefully unprepared.
No, but seriously. But here's what I think.
So what do you think?
I think, again, you got Michelle Pfeiffer.
Mm-hmm.
I think the songs are better. Like, I like the songs in Grease 1, but Grease 2 has some of the greatest musical theater songs, in my opinion. No joke. Cool Rider. So Michelle Pfeiffer tells people, hey, I don't want just your regular motorcycle guy anymore. She's a badass. She wants a cool rider. She literally says, like, I don't want the boy next door. I want hell on wheels. And then she describes what she wants, and she spells it out for people, and she says, I want a COOLRIDER. She tells people what she wants. She's so badass. There's other songs. There's a song called Score Tonight, which is just like...
Let me guess. It's about boning teens.
It's about boning teens, but they do it. They all go bowling. And actually, while I was doing research for this, I looked up that song, and supposedly that scene helped revitalize like the bowling like world in America.
Really? Does it take place at a bowling alley?
That scene does.
Let me take a look here. Score Tonight. Yeah, the local bowling alley, a game turns sour due to the animosity between Johnny and Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Stephanie retaliates by kissing the man who walks in the door, who happens to be Michael. Oh no.
Big stuff happens there.
Uh-oh. Problems going down.
There's so many great ones. But I even was like, I had to look up some of the lyrics because both movies, I feel like the lyrics are so bad, they're good, which I thoroughly enjoy.
Well, there's the infamous line from the original Grease where they're talking about, I mean, everybody knows this is, of course, media that comes about in a time that is of a simpler era.
Yes.
And an era where you have a song like Oh my God. I don't even remember the name of the song.
From which one?
From the first one, Summer Nights.
Yes.
Where like the girl's point of view is like, oh my God, he's so sweet. And the guys are like, did you get it? Just stick it in?
Yeah.
Did she put up a fight?
Exactly. Yeah. And
Was she
feel like-
saying no? I can only come if she says no.
Right. That's why Grease 2 is so much better because they're stronger. They're nastier. They're not taking crap anymore.
The women aren't?
The women aren't. Michelle Pfeiffer's like, no, I'm a badass.
Okay.
But in Score Tonight, like some of these lyrics are so good. Like, for example, we're going to score tonight. We're going to score tonight. We're going to rock. We're going to roll. We're going to bop. We're going to bowl. We're going to score tonight. Then Johnny screams, hey, Paulette, take a look over here. I'm your kingpin, honey, and I'm getting in gear. And Paulette says, hey, Johnny, go bowl that strike, and I just might be your baby tonight.
So if he bowls a strike, then they're gonna fuck. But if he doesn't, then she's out.
Right, she's in charge. She's in charge is what I'm saying. But
she says she does have some agency. She says I just might. She still might.
That's it.
Bowl back. Hey, how about you bowl? Listen, how about you bowl 300, buddy?
Right? Yeah, bowl a perfect game, and maybe you'll have a chance. But no joke, Reproduction. Do you know that song? There's a song called Reproduction.
No.
I think it may be the finest thing in the musical theater canon. And of course, as I mentioned at top, I am not a musical theater buff.
Wait, you're not a musical theater buff, but you're singing all the songs.
Oh God, dude, because it's so great. Now, Reproduction is they're in a biology class.
Reproduction. Following an unusual biology lesson given by Mr. Stewart, a gang of rival motorcyclists called the Cycle Lords show up at the bowling alley.
Yeah. Well, that's when stuff goes
But
down.
what goes down in this reproduction song?
But in Reproduction, the teacher's just trying to talk. But you got this classroom full of kids doing shenanigans. The T-Birds are there. The Pink Ladies. Things are going on. But dig some of these lines. All right? Like, it's just so good. Mr. Stewart, he's the teacher. He goes, now you see just how the stamen gets its lusty dust onto the stigma. I mean, that's unbelievable teaching quality, right? The chorus. You want to sing this with me?
I don't know the tune. I'm gonna have to let you fly this one solo.
You can do it with me. I got lyrics right here.
I don't know the tune. I'm reading the lyrics also, but I don't know the tune.
How about I sing this one and then you sing it back with me again?
I'll try it. I'll go for it.
Ready?
I got the lyrics up in my computer.
I'm going right to the chorus, which is straight up reproduction. Put your pollen tube to work. Reproduction. Make my stamen
go berserk.
Reproduction. I don't think they even know what a pistol is. I got your pistol right here. Where does the pollen go? I mean, come on.
I'm reading on as it goes more and more, and the teacher is saying stuff like the teacher's saying tight little sweater to children.
Yes.
Starts pulling that stuff, saying she wants to do it. What?
Right. But then even the students are like, I forget, I think it's Paulette again from the bowling song. Like, she's like, oh, excuse me, Mr. Stewart. Like, when there's people like you who are really experienced and all, like, do you always carry, like, I don't know, like, sexual protection?
This is crazy.
Like, it's the best song in the movie.
So, and what is it about this movie that you love compared to the original Grease?
Well, again, the songs. No doubt about it. I think, and as funny as this says for like musicals, I think it's more realistic. Like John Travolta in the first one is like the tough guy, and there's a fighting scene with our boy Sid Caesar's trying to teach him to like use sports to like get out his aggression, right? So there's one scene where Travolta's being pitched to in a baseball game, and he's terrible, and it's like strike one, strike two, and then he fouls something off, and then the umpire, who's also a student, says like foul ball or strike two, and Travolta grabs his like face mask and snaps it back onto his face, and Sid Caesar breaks it up, and Travolta's like, give me like let me in him. Like it's so garbage. I don't like it. I think it's more realistic in Grease 2. Other research I did, Rotten Tomatoes gave Grease 74%.
Yep, and Grease 2 with 33%.
Right? No.
What?
I'm here to tell you that's wrong.
So what's so wrong about it? Because the thing is, I'm reading these critics right now.
Yep.
Everybody is saying, hey, this is just a retread of Grease, but worse.
Disagree.
It's worse.
I'm here on these airways with you to disagree 1,000%. And again, so one, I think the songs are better. Two, I think the characters are better. They're more fun. I think it's even a little more realistic. Another thing, in Grease 1, at the end, they do this big, like, musical number, which is fine. Then Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, who's cool, they get into a car, Jay, and they drive away, and then the car starts to take off, and the car literally goes into the sky. The car is now flying, and no one ever talks about that. Why is the car flying?
It's a musical. The plot device,
I don't like
damned.
It. Unrealistic. Musicals, I allow a lack of realism, but that's unheard of. I actually read a funny thing online once at like 4 a.m. where someone was like, I think them flying into the sky means they die. Like
maybe
that was their theory. Like it got really dark. So I think it's like super lame. Grease 2 doesn't have that type of like overall lameness.
Okay.
All right.
But what about this? So does Grease 2 have the same kind of drama that Grease 1 does? Because that's one of the things I know based on my scanning of this Wikipedia page is you provide your argument to me so I can talk back.
Right, yeah.
That there's a lot of drama in Grease. There's teen pregnancy. There's a sequence where they're using bladed hubcaps to try and race each other and fight, and people are getting mad. And there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's a lot of fighting and teen alcohol and drug use, and they're talking about pussy wagons.
Yeah, well, we got drunk. We have reproduction, which is much better than the Pussy Wagon song. But I love how I said we. Like, I'm a part of Grease 2 now.
I mean, I feel like you are a part of Grease 2.
Listen, it's so much better. There's still drama. Again, it's still in high school, so all that stuff is still there. There's a lot of, like, Johnny wants to be with Michelle Pfeiffer, but our girl Paulette really wants to be with Johnny, so there's these weird triangles. The same villain, if you will, of Grease 1 is back in Grease 2, the guy with the gnarly face. He's back, so there's got that. But here's the big drama in Grease 2.
Okay.
The really nice guy, Michael, you know what he does, which is great? He goes, I see all the girls and Michelle Pfeiffer, the girl I want, dig these T-Birds. These guys ride cycles. I got to learn how to ride a cycle. I don't know how to do it. I'm a nice British boy. So what does he do? He starts doing the T-Birds guys' homework for cash.
That's a good racket.
To invest in a cycle.
I did that for money for a little bit.
You got a cycle?
No, I never got a cycle. I am not a motorcycle boy. I'm not a cool rider.
That's where you went wrong. You're certainly not.
I did pay for term papers though. Well, not pay. I got paid for them.
Yeah. So he does that, and then he becomes the mysterious rider who like saves the day at the bowling alley, and people are like, "Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Where can I get one?" That's a big song.
Who's this guy? Where can I get one?
Yeah, that's what the girls say.
So they all are after this mystery guy. It seems okay, a little bit more outlandish than the original Grease, which is a little bit more grounded. And yet, you got mad at Grease for flying, and all of a sudden you got this vigilante subplot, this basically Batman with songs.
Right. But come on.
You're cool with?
What's more realistic? A car flying or a guy doing it the hard way, paying for papers, getting a motorcycle, practicing, getting good at it, and then saving the day?
But you're taking one whole element of a movie that is so minuscule it happens at the end, and now you're comparing. I mean, I realize I put you up to this, but you're comparing it to an entire subplot of the movie.
I'm just saying, Grease 2, beginning to end, is better.
Hit me with this.
I'm hitting you with it.
Are the characters in Grease 2 more iconic than the characters in Grease 1, or are they the same archetypes played out again?
They're the same archetypes. I don't think they're as iconic because Grease is the first one.
Yeah.
So most people know, like, they know Grease. I don't think as many people know Grease 2. Plus, it gets a bad rap, which I'm here to debunk. All right?
Okay.
That's my mission here, to be like, people, give Grease 2 a shot. You know? It's so good. I think the characters are better. I don't like it. I don't like Grease 1. I mean, I don't mind it, but look, if they're both on at the same time, Grease 2. You're looking at a Grease 2, man, right?
You're part of the 33%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's unreal. Who voted for that? That's terrible. But yeah.
Well, how far apart did you see Grease and Grease 2 for the first time? Was it like a back-to-back thing? Was it one of those things? Did you see Grease 2 first?
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I really don't even remember, but I think I saw Grease first, definitely. And then I just remember Grease 2 coming out. I just remember it being like, I was like, this is cool.
See, that's why I try and drink it off the mic.
Yeah, I heard it. I think we all heard you drinking.
We heard me. You listen. Sometimes a boy's got a real thirsty mouth.
Mm-hmm. That came out weird.
Yeah. Listen. Sometimes things come out of my mouth weird.
I hear you, but yeah, I don't.
So you like Grease
2?
I
like Grease
better.
1. Don't get me wrong.
That's the thing.
But Grease 2 is I think it's better. Better songs, cooler characters. I think it's more fun.
I'm gonna hit you with some quotes here.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit you with some quotes from movie reviewers who are trying to knock you down.
Okay.
And show you how wrong you are. From the man himself, Roger motherfucking Ebert. Sorry, I was looking for this thing.
Wow.
I was so close. All right. Roger Ebert. The movie just recycles Grease without the stars, without the energy, without the freshness, and without the grease.
Wow, Roger.
What's your take on that?
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to give that 2 thumbs down. I'm going to say Michelle Pfeiffer is a better performer than anyone in Grease 1.
Better than Olivia Newton-John? And John Travolta?
Yeah, and John Travolta.
Olivia Newton-John Travolta?
I like Olivia Newton-John. Yeah. I mean, I like Michelle Pfeiffer.
Okay.
I like what she's done. But that's fine. I disagree, Roger.
Here's a quote from Janet Maslin for the New York Times.
Okay.
The film is dizzy and slight, with an even more negligible plot than its predecessor had. This time, the story can't even masquerade as an excuse for stringing the songs together. Songs? What songs? The numbers in Grease 2 are so hopelessly insubstantial that the cast is forced to burst into melody about pastimes like bowling.
Mm-hmm. We went over how awesome that song was. So I disagree with you, New York Times lady.
Janet Maslin just hates bowling, I think.
Janet. I mean, just try it. It's fun. Put up bumper lanes if you don't like it. Then you'll get a high score, you know? Here's another one. Can we do this? Can we do this spoken word thing, me and you?
Please.
There's a song, I think it's Love Will Turn Back the Hands of Time, right? And again, it's so funny because Michelle Pfeiffer, she loves this new guy, this like masquerading guy, but she doesn't know anything about him. They've went riding once or twice, but he's all about
the mask on?
Yeah, but he never reveals himself until the end. No one knows who he is, right? Oh, mystery. That's another thing. Grease 1 don't have mystery. Grease 2, mystery.
Does there need to be mystery, though?
There needs to be mystery, right? Who's this guy? Who's this guy, the ultimate cool writer? So she's kind of having this breakdown. And I'll be Michael, and you can be Stephanie. And the song goes, and it's a good song. And then it like, there's a breakdown in the song. And the song, boom, boom, boom. And then they speak. Here, ready? I got it. You're going to be Stephanie.
Okay.
Ready?
Hold on. What's the name of the song? Because I'll just pull it up on my own.
This song is the Love Will Turn Back the Hands of Time.
Love will turn back the hands of time. Grease 2. Okay.
All right.
Well, now I'm immediately getting a video sequence of this guy. I'm assuming the cool writer is wearing all silver.
Yeah, because it's kind of a dream sequence.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's like Grease 1 didn't take these chances, Jay.
This movie seems cheesy as fuck, dude.
This is the Spielberg of the Greases.
What?
They took chances. They went in other dimensions. Like, this is crazy stuff.
Okay.
But
which part am I? Am I Stephanie or Michael?
You're going to be Stephanie, but it's when down where it says spoken.
Okay,
and
hold
Michael
on.
says,
Let me get to the spoken part. I don't see a spoken part here.
just keep going.
Hold on, I'm not even on this list.
Man.
I think I was on the wrong lyrics page.
Uh,
Oh God, the internet. Okay, here we go. I got it.
So if it goes down, my first line is going to be, do you see where it says?
Yes.
Okay.
Spoken.
So this is it. I mean, this is so great. Ready? So the song's been playing, breakdown, the band's playing behind.
And set the scene a little bit here. Are they outside? Are they inside somewhere?
She just did winter formal at like the school,
Okay.
and like this was a big song, but her head's not in it because she thinks Michael here is probably dead because he went over a cliff. He's a badass. Like
Oh,
so
man.
much is going on.
All right. Okay, I'm in.
this
I'm
movie,
in now.
all right?
I'm locked in.
Right, it's so good. So again, you got the bass and everything's behind, boom, boom, and Michael goes, Stephanie, please don't cry.
Oh, it all seems so unfair. Just when I found you, I lost you.
That doesn't matter now. The only thing that matters is the time we had together.
But I don't even know your name.
The only thing you have to know is that I love you, and you're the only one who can keep our love alive. So, Stephanie, don't forget me.
I promise.
And remember, I love you. You won't be far away. I mean, come on, drama. You wanted drama. That is
This
true.
sounds ridiculous.
Oh, it is. But how great! You know what I love about that? It's so ridiculous that she's like, I don't even know your name. He's like, but I love you. Like they don't even know names, and love is there.
This is insane. This
Yes.
is how dumb teenagers are. That they just fall in love. They literally are falling in love
Right.
with an ideal of a person who's wearing silver.
Right, and also let's be honest. That's how dumb this whole genre is. Grease and Grease 2 are stupid. They're so dumb, but they're
Why
so
are
much
these
fun.
parents letting these kids ride motorcycles and be in motorcycle gangs?
Right, that's a whole nother thing.
That's a dark subplot.
And you have the T-Birds, which is the male gang, and then you have the Pink Ladies, obviously the
Which is
female
a
gang.
female gang.
And they have like a monopoly on each other. They only date within, the ranks. You
Right.
can't go date. That's why this is so dramatic, Jay. Because Stephanie, arguably the head
Of the Pink Ladies.
is going, I don't want to date Johnny anymore, the head guy. That's how it worked. Kind of in Grease 1. Like, they had a similar thing, but this is different because Travolta was thinking about dating someone out of the ranks. But no, now it's Michelle Pfeiffer who's like, who's this guy that just like beat everybody up? Who's this cool rider? Who's this dude? I'm into him. And the T-Birds don't want it. Everybody wants him dead, but he's so good. He comes back.
These movies both sound dumb as hell.
Oh, they're the worst. That's why I love, like, when I've said this to some of my friends who really love, like, musicals, they literally, like, lose their mind. Like, how dare you say Grease 2 is better than Grease? Like, they flip out. And then I just double down on it. Like I'm doing it to you right now.
What's the worst reaction you've ever gotten from someone who you told that Grease 2 is better than Grease 1?
Oh, they just, like, flipped out and, we're just, like, got a little noticeably louder. And we're like, you don't understand. Like, you don't know musicals. And I was like, oh, no, I do.
And I mean, I got to ask, where did you have this conversation with this person?
This was in New York.
Okay.
But yeah, again, that's
Was it at a Broadway theater? Was it at somewhere adjacent?
No, it's just like-
it was just like
at like a diner. Yeah,
a diner.
it just came up, and I was like, "Oh, Grease 2, it's the
Okay.
best." And they were like, "How dare you?" Like, we may not be friends after this.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's blasphemous in that community. But I'm telling you, Grease 2, it's so much better.
I wish I could have had some context of actually had the time to watch Grease, because it was one of those movies that just like just passed me by. Love the soundtrack. The Bee Gees opening Grease song.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. That
Yeah.
song's great. And the rest
Well, that's
of these
another
songs,
thing. Grease 2, hey, in Grease, and I'll say we again because I'm on the Grease 2 thing, we don't need a massive rock band to do our songs. I don't think there's any great, like Grease 1, you have, like you're saying, you have the Bee Gees type thing, and You also have what's his name? I think Frankie Valli sings like
Yep.
the main Grease song. Like I don't know if there's any big names doing any of the Grease 2 songs.
I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. We've got, let me take a look at the soundtrack here. Yeah, the Four Tops are in there in the intro and Back to School Again.
Good song.
And there's a song by Dwayne Eddy. There's a song by Ruby and the Romantics featured in the background at this apparently very important bowling alley.
Telling you, man. And again, speaking of research, remember when you knocked my research earlier? You didn't see either of these movies?
I didn't have, dude, I've been so fucking busy writing on historical roast for Netflix. It's fucking crazy. But let me ask you this. I have one last thing I'd like to bring up that I've seen over the course of my slight research. So the guy who's Michael.
Yes.
The cool writer, the hero of the story, who's just real weird the whole time and hiding his identity.
He's hiding his identity. Yeah.
He's hiding his identity. This could have been. You know what? This movie sounds like it would have worked better if they just ditched all of the Grease stuff and made it a superhero movie, but like a 50s superhero movie about a guy who it's got all the elements of it. It's got him. He could be a totally like Peter Parker, nerdy kind of kid who starts like doing term papers and homework for all these other cool motorcycle kids, excuse me. I don't want to diminish cycling culture. I don't want the T-Birds to come and like swing a chain into my face.
You don't want that.
I don't want the pink ladies to come put sand in my gas tank. Anyway, so the guy who played Michael is this actor named Maxwell Caulfield.
Yep.
Now, this is the saddest part of this whole enterprise for me. He showed up. He had never been in a movie before. He'd done some stuff in Broadway, and Michelle Pfeiffer had been in a couple movies, and she did great after this. Maxwell Caulfield did not. This is a direct quote from him. Before Grease 2 came out, I was being hailed as the next... Sorry, actually, he's British. Before Grease 2 came out, I was being hailed as the next Richard Gere or John Travolta. However, when Grease 2 flopped, nobody would touch me. It felt like a bucket of cold water had been thrown on my face. It took me 10 years to get over Grease 2.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? This movie ruined a man's life. You still think it's better?
Yeah. You know what the problem was?
What?
Is people, they just didn't know how good it was. They should have said, wow, look at this dude. He's taking this kind of material and he's doing pretty well with him. Let's give him a shot somewhere else. And I don't know the inner workings. Like maybe Michelle should have thrown him a bone when she kept going up higher and higher in the ranks. Like,
you think she should have fought for him to get cast in Batman?
Why not, right?
Maybe.
I mean, he could have played someone. But yeah, I'm telling you, you're going to watch it and you're going to be like, wow, I'm really rooting for Michael. And then there's a scene where he's riding his motorcycle, but he's like, he's not doing well. You know, he's in a field and he keeps crashing, but he just has really good work ethic. He's determined to be a great cyclist and a great like gang guy so he can get the girl. And spoiler alert, he does.
I have one more question.
More.
Sorry, I thought I was done, and I did want to ask about this.
I'm ready to go all day.
How... Let's go back into like bad teen behavior for a sec. This is a line. This is from the plot synopsis on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lewis, one of the T-Birds, attempts to trick his sweetheart Sharon, who one of the Pink Ladies and Stephanie's friends, into losing her virginity to him by taking her to a fallout shelter and faking a nuclear attack.
Yes, yeah.
Can you tell me about this song sequence, which is called "Let's Do It for Our Country"?
Yes. Okay, so you have this dirtbag guy who goes, I want to get further with my girlfriend. So, guys, you stand outside. I'm going to bring her to this bomb shelter. And they had like a siren that they could crank. And then he starts like putting bandages over his head. And he does this whole thing like, if we have sex tonight, it'll be patriotic. We'll be doing it for the country. She's not really buying it. Halfway through, she's like, well, maybe. But he has lines in that song that are so stupid because he's like the dumb guy. But he's like, yeah, we'll be like doing it for America. We're doing it for the New York Yankees. Like he's an idiot. And the plot is foiled.
What happens? How's the plot get foiled?
The guys outside, I think, fall through the door. And she's like, oh, Lewis, you idiot. And she just like runs away. But yeah, he tried to score by faking nuclear war.
And here's some lines. Just think about it. It would be like as if we were doing it for the Statue of Liberty or the Grand Canyon or the New York Yankees. It would be like we were doing it for Disneyland.
Yep. I mean, so smart he's very intelligent. No, he's the moron. But yeah, that was a funny one. That's dumb. There's a lot of just like, a lot of the songs are just like super fun and stupid. And like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know which movie has dumber songs. I mean, they both have.
I mean, critically, it sounds like Grease 2 has the dumber songs.
And again, I beg to differ because we have dumb ones. I love when I say we. We double down on that. Have dumb ones, but then we just have like Reproduction is such a classic.
I gotta listen to that.
Cool Rider.
And you best believe I'm going to be including clips of these songs in the final episode.
Oh, please
so don't you worry.
Do the entire. You should do Reproduction the entirety because it's so stupid. It's amazing. They're both dumb. Both of these movies are dumb.
So I have to say, these movies are both dumb, and these movies both sound pretty bad. I would like to know, is there a movie musical that you think is worth watching for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of these are, especially Grease 2.
That's not Grease or Grease 2, like an actual good movie.
That's a musical?
Yes.
And again, I preface this thing, I am not an authority on musicals at all, but I mean, I think we've all seen.
I mean, that's fine. You think Grease 2 is a good movie.
It's a great movie. I don't think it's a good one.
I think that proves enough that you are not an authority.
Beg to differ. I'm trying to think. I mean, oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? Oh, of course. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay.
Like, that's a great music. But again, that one was panned. No one liked that one. And then it got a cult following. That's a cult
classic.
Yeah.
Grease 2 doesn't have a cult following.
I'm starting it.
Are you going to be the leader of the cult?
You and I.
I don't know. I don't know
if I can.
I'll sleep on it. I'll sleep on it.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of good ones. I loved, because I love Rick Moranis, but Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors is great.
I mean, Rick's in it, right? That's a good one. Is The Nightmare Before Christmas count as a musical, even though it's animated?
I'd count it. I think a lot of animated musicals, a lot of animated movies tended to be musicals, especially in that era. Now, not so much. But yeah, I think that counts.
That one.
I love Nightmare Before Christmas.
Movie. Yeah.
Man.
So I know my stuff, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get people onto the Grease 2 bandwagon.
I mean, we'll see if anybody hops on that bandwagon after this episode.
You know what I would love if that Rotten Tomatoes score went from 33 to like 34%.
Maybe.
Get a bump from this podcast.
We'll find out. We'll find out soon.
Will. Yeah.
Jared, thanks for coming on today, man.
Oh, man, this is so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Where can the listeners find you on the internet?
You can find me at jaredwaltzer.com and on Twitter at jaredwaltzer.
You can find me on the internet at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for show dates. And that's about it, guys. If you like the show, please leave a review, subscribe, tell a friend, have them have a listen. Helps podcast out. It helps me and Jared out.
Absolutely.
Helps Jared spread the word about this terrible, terrible movie that he thinks everybody should see.
Absolutely.
And please do not watch Grease. Folks, this has been... What were you going to say? I cut you up.
No, when you said don't watch Grease, I was like, Grease 2. Watch Grease 2.
How dare you. Folks, this has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.